Have you been listening to this show for a while? Do you like this show? Do you want to see it continue? There's one way you can do that. You can actually visit our Patreon page and donate some money to make sure the show continues. That's the only way we fund the show, the only way we make it happen. Go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, find out bonus stuff you can get for supporting us, and make sure the show keeps on trucking.
You got to think about Charles.
Oh, Charles is really ruining your surround sound.
I know, but I love him. I love him.
Yeah, well.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, if there's one thing we can be proud of at nearly 500 episodes of the show.
No. 500 at nearly 5? Really?
Almost. We're getting close.
Where are we at?
We're in the 480s, I think.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's a lot of us talking.
Stop listening to us.
Why are we here?
Don't stop.
If there's one thing we can
Don't
be
stop
proud
and
of,
go to our Patreon and give us money.
If there's one thing we can be proud of is that we have, I think single-handedly, I would say, established a diligent network of operatives all around the world.
Our concerned citizens.
Concerned citizens who are watching the skies, the land, and most importantly, the seas for octopi.
Octopodes. Octopuses.
Octopeople.
Octodads.
Octogenarians.
Octogenarians. If you see an octogenarian in your neighborhood.
You have to say something.
And this is not, listen. I'm not ageist.
No.
I'm not.
There's nothing about what we said is.
I'm not ageist. I'm not racist. I'm not any of those things. But if you see, if you're like living in a nice neighborhood and an octogenarian moves in, all it takes is one family of octogenarians to really just ruin your property values with their early dinners and their walkers with the little tennis balls on them and their stories and perspective about the history of our great nation.
I'm under the opinion that they attach balloons to their house and try to rise it into the sky.
One day you're going to go out of town and you're going to come back and your house is going to be gone because octogenarians just love to attach balloons to houses and fly away.
That's all they do.
Go on magical adventures.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
All it takes is one Boy Scout.
If you are living in a neighborhood with octogenarians, do not have an Asian son. There. Because they will steal him away in a balloon house.
That took a turn. No,
I am not racist and I am not ageist. But this is true.
We have well established over the nearly 500 episodes of the show that octopuses are they's aliens.
Oh, they is aliens.
We know that they're plotting something. We know that they're scheming.
Here's the thing. They's too smart.
Oh, way too smart. They don't have DNA that is of this land, of this earth, of this natural world.
They've got weird DNA that we don't understand. They have natural active camouflage. They're just too smart and they can escape from everything. They have distributed brains, Jeff.
I know, but the one
that tentacle is also brain and sometimes penis.
And you can cut out parts and they're fine. They're fine with it.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Although if you cut the one that is a brain and a penis and a tentacle, they're going to get mad.
That's annoying.
And do not make them mad.
Do not anger the penis brain.
Because they's aliens.
They's aliens. But here's the one bit of solace that we've had up to this point, Anthony, is that they're loners.
Oh, yeah.
They're disaffected loners.
They're such evil, cold-hearted killers that they can't even stand being around each other. And that's the only thing stopping the uprising.
They seemed nice when they moved in. They seemed so nice.
They never seemed nice.
To anybody. They never mentioned anything.
They never seemed nice, but they seemed like they kept to themselves.
But guess what they've got now, Anthony? They've got cities.
Chainsaws.
What? Chainsaws?
I was just guessing.
No, that's incorrect. Cities! They now...
I don't know if I would rather them have chainsaws or cities.
That's one for the philosophers to tackle.
Okay.
Our purview is digging deep into these cities.
One problem at a time.
We've discovered Octlantis. And
Wait. This is a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did... We called it Octlantis, right? Like, we didn't show up and there was a sign that said Octlantis.
Welcome to Octlantis, like population 15.
Like, they didn't make that, right?
That's for this philosophers to discuss.
No, I need that answer.
Octlantis is off the waters in eastern Australia and northern New Zealand. And
of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
The closer anything evil gets to Australia, the more powerful it gets. It's like Australia is like a humming monolith.
It is a nexus point for all things demonstrative and powerful.
All demonstrative or monstrous?
Monstrous.
There you go.
I went demon and monstrous at the same time, and I got a word that I didn't want.
And you got a word that meant something completely different.
But you can demonstrate that they're there. It is demonstrative. Demonstrative.
Fair. I just don't think it had the sense of foreboding that you meant it to.
No, it didn't.
But what I'm saying
Sometimes
is,
my mouth does things I don't want it to.
Australia is a nexus of evil, for sure.
Yes.
The closer anything gets to Australia, the more cunning and evil and destructive and just cold-blooded it gets.
So these octopuses,
yeah,
almost always live on their own. They call them gloomy
This is the gloomy
octopuses.
octopus. Yeah.
Yeah. Gloomy octopuses because they're loners, Dottie.
Rebels.
Yes. But guess what? Octlantis has now been discovered. 15 gloomy octopuses congregating, communicating, dwelling together. And guess what, Anthony? Building shelters, erecting structures, bringing in crews, outsourcing their workload.
Hold on.
They've got towers of union workers now.
Hold on.
That take breaks.
Calm down.
They build structures. They're sitting. They've got a
You
picture
said build
of them
structures
sitting
already.
miles high above the city.
Probably
eating their
not
lunches
miles high above the
on
city.
A girder.
It is not like that famous photograph
It is
where they're
what
sitting on the
octopuses
girder
are
eating
doing.
lunch. That's not what they're doing. Hold on, pull it back. Number one.
Got a little ahead of myself.
15 citizens does not a city make.
This is Octlantis.
That's not. You can't just say the thing over again. And then
when you are a loner, when you are a
Dottie.
disaffected, gloomy octopus, 14 other people around.
I mean,
that's a paradigm shift.
So we had found a previous enclave of the gloomy octopus.
Oh,
before.
you're talking about Octopia,
Octopolis.
Octopolis.
Which was another, I would like to say, misnomer, because I think it was a similarly small group. And when I think of a metropolis, an octopolis, I certainly picture whimsical octopuses, certainly driving cabs at the very least. Definitely washing windows on,
sitting on a girder,
definitely
having just built a skyscraper and eating lunch out of their pail.
Yeah, definitely the opening to a DreamWorks and or Pixar movie. But
are you thinking this is more like Octham City?
No, stop it. What I'm thinking is we found Octopolis, and it was a similar.
Octham.
It was a similar enclave of
There's only
octopuses,
one hero that can save Octham,
and we thought that it was a fluke. We thought that there was some sort of. There must have been some sort of external reason why, in this one case, the gloomy octopus would get together and live in a group.
And there was, Anthony! There was an external reason in Octopolis.
What was it?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Mysterious human object that they congregated around at the bottom of the sea.
A giant foot? Was it a giant stone foot?
Not an object made of humans.
A giant stone foot.
A giant stone foot?
Yeah.
You thought it was like
it's like a lost situation.
So, no, that would be more of an Octlantis, I think. Octlantis would have the underground or undersea stone carvings, wouldn't it? Wouldn't an Octlantis have that?
I don't know. I'm not a marine biologist.
You're not an Oct City expert? No. It is an unidentified, mysterious undersea object that caused these for some reason they were drawn to it. They lived around it. It caused them to start building things around it. Let me find the exact.
So Octopolis was an octopus Tommyknockers situation. It was an octopus. It was an Octopus 2001 situation.
Yes.
It was like, here is an artifact from humanity, which has fallen.
Yes.
It was like
to it.
It was almost like an octopus cargo cult.
Here's the
where this thing dropped in, and they were like, oh, well, we have to live among and worship this thing and build our city around it.
The unknown artifact was a single object about 30 centimeters long, heavily encrusted, possibly made of metal.
Batmanium?
It's a demon dagger. It's clearly a dagger.
Yeah.
of some hideous origin that has been cast out of the ship that was crossing, trying to get rid of it from a real metropolis.
Some sort of dark curse.
Yes,
obviously.
And now the most hideous creatures in existence are drawn to it.
But this was Octopolis. This was in 2009.
Right.
So we thought mysterious artifact is the reason these octopuses are getting together.
Right.
And this is the only reason these octopuses would get together. But this is not so now. We have Octlantis.
Octlantis has no mysterious object.
So this means, number one, once again, we are superstitious and bad and dumb. And number two,
I still think the dagger theory holds weight.
I don't know, man. I think maybe there was just an object there, and we just placed a little importance on it that wasn't.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Mysterious encrusted sea object.
Sure. Encrusted with what, though? It wasn't jewels. It was just like garbage. It was encrusted with
encrusted with
sea sediment.
Sea sediment. That's why we can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And we can't just barge into
the octopuses
Octopolis.
Just happened to live around this dirty thing, and so we thought it must be dirty thing. But now we know that they're social. They just want to get together. They just want to plot.
They're starting to change their behavior, which is terrifying.
Or we didn't understand their behavior because we've
what's more likely?
Is it more likely that they're getting smarter in their plans to battle us for supremacy?
Right. Or we just misinterpreted the data. I think the former.
Yeah. I'm going to call Occam's razor on this one and say Octum's razor and say they's aliens. Also, that's your one. Maybe maybe Octham City was your one because it was really bad and you just kept saying it. You just kept saying Octham City. Anyway, we're moving on from that.
I was ready to do a whole bit about the Octman and his.
This was not an invitation to dive back into Octham City,
because I think Octham City really is
okay. You can do it if you can do an R. Kelly song about Octham City.
Really?
City of Justice. So here's what's up.
Yeah.
Gloomy octopuses are more social than we thought. They want to live in some sort of pods or cells or groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what does that mean? How do they live? When they're together, do they get along? What's up?
No, they don't. It says there's a lot of aggression.
Great.
They're constantly chasing each other out of they're just riling each other up. It's like any big city, Anthony. You move into the big city.
Tell me how it is.
You think we're all going to get along?
Yeah.
But then your neighbors have a subwoofer and you get pissed off and you go knocking on their door and you say, shut it down.
That's a story for our patrons if you heard the pre-show.
Shut it down is what you say.
Otherwise it makes no sense.
You say, I'm going to call the Commissioner Oct Gordon on you.
I think you're going to have to stop trying to make Octham happen.
It's so good.
It doesn't work like Lego does. You know what I mean? No. So here's what's up. They don't get along. They're antagonistic towards each other. They're constantly kicking each other out of shared spaces, fighting for supremacy. This is good. This is good for us.
You say infighting. We want to encourage infighting.
Oh, we love the infighting.
Yeah.
Because then they can't.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they're all our friends.
Yeah. I mean,
they've become friends now?
No, Jeff.
Did we just friend them?
No, and they don't.
I hate it when they're just stuck in the friend zone, though. I want to love them.
So if they're constantly fighting each other, sure, they can build structures. They can escape from anything. They're smart. They have active camouflage, but they will never be able to put up a united front against us.
I guess.
They'll never have a working, functioning military and government.
What if they work it out, though?
They won't work it out.
Are you not concerned that they're building structures?
What are these structures like?
They are built from piles of shells left over from the creatures they ate. Yeah. So they're literally living in the carcasses of their prey.
They're living in some sort of Conan the Barbarian style city of their enemies' skulls.
Yes.
I love this.
And I
hate this.
Reminding themselves of the conquest they've had and of the
we literally can't build without the destruction of others.
Yes. And what happens when they're done building their dens in the sea? They will take the land. and then they will take the air.
But what are they?
What have we left?
You've told me that they're made of skulls, but they're not. They're made of shells.
Yeah, clams and scallops. The shells left over.
And what are the structures?
And they are. It says they are shell piles or middens.
Mm-hmm.
You know middens.
Yeah,
shell piles. You've seen a midden.
Yeah.
Further sculpted to create.
You were really hoping I didn't know what midden meant. You were hoping that was the first time I'd ever heard the word midden.
Well, you weren't going to midden it to me, were you?
Wow, that's 3.
I haven't had any in a while, man.
You gotta go home.
So they took these middens and they further sculpted them to create dens. It doesn't say.
So they're making. This is like the hive in Destiny.
Okay.
You know,
I'm not clear on the lore of Destiny.
The spooky horror ones. Not.
Yeah. Oh, the hive is a race. In
yeah.
Destiny, right.
And when you go into their, it's a hive. They're building like out of these shells. They're building like cave structures to live in.
It's almost like you could use a hive and not even reference Destiny because there's other hives in the world.
Are there?
Mm-hmm. You don't even have to reference.
What's the difference between a hive and a midden?
Well, how much time do you have? So they literally say in this article that it makes octopuses true environmental engineers.
Damn, son.
Business cards?
I don't think they have business cards.
Hard hats now?
They don't have hard hats.
And they
definitely don't.
Obnoxious offices that are all glass. Like when you go to a meeting room with
they don't have the ability
octopus,
to manufacture glass.
You don't want to sit in a all glass meeting room. People are just walking by. You're constantly distracted.
They don't have that.
Isn't that annoying? Don't you find that annoying when you have a meeting with an octopus general engineer?
I think you're inferring a lot. I think you started from Cursed Dagger and just went and, well, not necessarily the place that I thought you would go to when you start from Cursed Dagger.
Yeah.
But definitely to a place. And
That's the thing that makes Octham is how many glass meeting rooms they have.
Guys, how do we stop the octopuses?
This is bad. I feel like you're the one that's always concerned about this, and you seem blithely unconcerned.
Oh, like I'm going to show them fear now that I know that they're listening, Jeff.
Yeah, in their gilded cage.
In their glass offices.
Yeah, they
which we know they have, Jeff.
Yes, I know. That's what I was saying.
I can't. We got to cut off this broadcast. They clearly have pod catchers.
Oh, no. Not pod catchers.
They're using Stitcher Premium.
Oh, no.
They love Mark Maron.
Well, he's delightful.
He really is. You know, he started off being very abrasive, but it's been fun to listen to him grow as a person.
Really true. Yeah.
And become not just like a great performer and a great host, but you feel like he's a much better human being. Shut it down.
Don't let it happen.
This is the information the octopuses want from us. How scared are you? Let us know on Twitter. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And you can hashtag those Mark Maron.
Nothing bad can happen.
Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen.
You throw off the octopi.
If you want to talk about us, you talk about Mark Maron. You want to talk about Mark Maron, you talk about us.
That's right. If only we could get to the Mark Maron audience and let them know the plan.
They'll never find us.
Never know.